talk about what's morally right. And today I'm talking about something that's definitely wrong. And what I'm talking about is just like last week I was talking about um, local government trying to shut down local small farms and just any type of farm, really, ranch or farm, anything where there's livestock or vegetation that gets grown by the farmer themselves. And so I found this other one where they're saying they're trying to shut down backyard gardening, which is even more stupider than shutting down a farm. It's just insane. Like you obviously don't want people to be healthy and grow their own vegetation that might be more better than the processed stuff and you know just genetically altered plants and things that they put into fucking grocery stores. And so this whole thing is just outrageous. Man, it should be stopped. It should be something going along with people coming together and say, hey, we don't like these laws that you're trying to put against farming or any type of vegetational growth or anything like that. And so it has to be something where it can go above and beyond to the capital, DC and whatever, and trying to get a bill passed against it. All these types of things, and it just doesn't make any sense when you got wealthy people buying up land for no reason. So let's get into this video.
Hey guys, so today was supposed to be the start of our Gardening from Scratch series. However, we got rained out big time. It is a soggy mess around here. So I thought I would use this day to talk about something that is vitally important to anyone who is a home gardener. And after we talk for a couple of minutes, I want to tell you how I'm tweaking the Starting from Scratch series in response to what I have to talk about today. And it is going to be the best series I think I've ever done on this channel. I'm really excited about it. So stick around for that. Some of you might have seen an article that came out a few days ago. It was a study by the University of Michigan. The headline kind of stopped me in my tracks. I was floored, kind of shocked, although I don't think I should have been. I probably should have seen this coming, but I had to say something about it because I will always advocate for the backyard gardener.
So to stop it for a hot second, now the previous video I reviewed and was talking about was about stopping farms, local farms, and just little things like that, and it was in Oregon. This here is in Michigan from what he's saying, and that's like Midwest, somewhere in there. It's like in the middle of America, and so it's just like crazy. Now you got Michigan having problems with the same type of thing, or local people in Michigan having problems, but with gardening, backyard gardening, which is outrageous, like I said. So this is a thing that's going from state to state. They're trying to stop people from growing stuff and living on the land. And like I said, it's our natural thing from God himself to tend gardens, to be able to pull up weeds and raise livestock. And like I said before, in another video, that in other countries this is a natural thing for people to have gardens and farms so they can survive, because the government's not going to let them go and just get whatever they want. They're not going to money is bad, and they're not going to be able to find ways to get it, so they make their own farms and things. So I mean, it's just the thing here in the States. This should never be a thing. It's just something that should be able to happen. Okay, it's already a problem. There's so many people who either don't know how to cook or don't know how to survive outside of living in a city. They're used to going through grocery stores, getting stuff and things like that. If there was a time where we were without these assets, without these assets of going to grocery stores and being able to spend currency to get food and things we want, then we would have to know how to do these type of things. And if we don't know how to do them, then we're going to die, obviously. It's like that Chinese proverbs, those who don't work don't eat. So even if you're doing hard work for yourself on the land, you're going to be able to eat something. But if you can't do it because the government shuts you down and all you can do is get some groceries, then it's going to be a bad economy system. It's going to be a bad pushback, from the people to the government. And so this is just something that's crazy, and that's all I have to say right there. So let's get back to it.
I stayed quiet last year around this time when egg prices were through the roof. There was a worldwide egg shortage, and the powers that be were telling us that keeping our own chickens wasn't as beneficial as you think it is, and downright dangerous, actually. So when I saw a headline just a few days ago that was going down this same path, I felt like I had to put in my 2 cents, whatever it's worth. And this doesn't happen very often. I feel like no matter what side of the climate change argument you're on, and there's probably more than two sides, but however you feel about it, if it's a thing, if it isn't a thing, what we can do about it, or there's nothing we can do about it, however you feel about it, number one, you're welcome here. You still belong here. I don't go along with the thinking that you have to agree with somebody to be their friend. I mean, I'm old enough to remember where you could disagree with somebody, even politically, religiously, and you could still hang out and get along and have fun. So however you feel about it.
He's actually pretty right about that. There was a time period where you could actually do that, where you could, you know, didn't care. It wasn't that serious of a thing if somebody was a Republican or a Democrat, or if there was somebody who liked a team and the other person didn't like a football team, or, you know, just certain things you didn't care about. You know, like even the whole thing right now with this stuff they always throwing out with the sexual crap about whatever the hell the letters are. Okay, people didn't care. They went on and did their thing. If you like whatever you like, they did whatever. You know, that's their thing. It's not my thing. Nowadays, they just try to label everybody with whatever the hell and try to force all this crap down you when you shouldn't accept it anyway. You shouldn't have to accept what society accepts. You shouldn't have to go with what everybody else does. And so I stay out of the loop because I don't care about none of that shit. I just do what I like. And it's just the honest to God truth. There's no point in being a part of a crowd when you know you don't even fit in the crowd. And you shouldn't have to change your whole way of thinking and lifestyle to accept something because people are trying to tell you you like something, or the nation tells you you have to accept these things. One thing I do know is, as an individual, and even if you're an individual of God, you shouldn't be willing to accept anything that isn't right or isn't holy or whatever. So it's something you have to think about and actually process before trying just to live a whole new lifestyle just based off of what your friends, your family, or society tells you. Do what you feel, do what you like what you like, don't feel ashamed of what you like, don't hold back on, you know, what you want to do in life, and try not to let anybody get in your way, because I guarantee you anybody you let in your life is going to try to get in your way and stop you from doing what you want to do and try to force you to do what they want to do, or brainwash you to do it, or manipulate you to do something that they want you to do. And so always stand up for what you believe in and what you like and what you care for. And with that being said, you know, we get to the next part.
And just a few days ago, that was going down this same path, I felt like I had to put in my 2 cents, whatever it's. You have to agree with somebody to be their friend. I mean, I'm old enough to remember where you could disagree with somebody, even politically, religiously, and you could still hang out and get along and have fun. So
Okay, I had a little mishap, so here's what's going down in the video. I mean,
however you feel about it, you're still welcome here. However you feel about it, there are plenty of corporations that have lined up just to profit on the entire idea of climate change. Politicians who are using it to show that this side is a science denier, or this side is just using fear tactics to get ahead. As a simple, lowly home gardener who has been practicing and teaching organic gardening for 2 decades now, and who is trying to every year garden more and more sustainably, it really upsets me when I see headlines like this. Gardening is something that has become a saving grace for so many people, both mentally and physically, including myself. You know, in 2020, when the powers that be told us that we had to stay home, millions flocked to gardening as something to do to pass the time. And fortunately, what good came out of that is a lot of those people, maybe you included, are still here 4 years later, still enjoying gardening.
so with that being said, he's making a good point. It is therapeutic to plant. You know, there's most people find out about it through certain things. You know, way to stress relieve, and at the same time to feel like you accomplished something by planting it and actually making it grow. You know, the whole green thumb thing starts to sound cool. You know, and it's just a good thing, you know. Why not grow something that you have your own abundance or whatever? Make an apple tree, have apples, apricots, have oranges, whatever it is, wherever the climate is good at to raise tropical fruits, you know, and or grow, I should say. But yeah, he's making a good point. But the thing about it is, the government's wrong for stepping in and trying to change people from gardening and from farming, no matter what state it is. So this is something that's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, pesticides are all inside our fruits and vegetables, and this is why we have to wash them and things. If you're growing it yourself, you don't have to worry about that if you got a certain way of growing things with certain types of soil or oxygen-rich environments or whatnot. So it's a thing where it just kind of touches home because I kind of like planting things sometimes, you know, and it's just jacked up because if I had enough land, I would do that. So I make a whole orchard of freaking trees and make freaking all kinds of stuff, pies, jams, jellies, and dried fruits and vegetables and so forth. And, so that's what you want to do, and then you're able to survive through winter and years on and in if you can figure out ways to preserve food for long periods of time. But this thing here is saying pretty much by this and the other video I played that they're saying they had enough of us being self-reliant, and that's not a good thing. So, yeah.
On top of that now, 4 years later, people are coming still to gardening to offset the rising grocery costs that seem to be, mounting more and more every single month. Or people who just don't trust what they can buy in the store. My fear is there will be people who...
That part right there is actually true. Some people are afraid of what they buy in the store because you don't know where it comes from. And sometimes I question, and I said this just like a week or two ago to somebody that, because I forget what we were eating. And I was saying, how do we know the ingredients in this thing is actual true ingredients? Because something tasted off, I don't know if you can taste a change in certain products and things, but if you can, you're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, that doesn't taste like it used to be, or something hits your taste buds, you're just like a full shock and you want more of that. There has to be a reason why you desire more of that. There has to be something in there that makes you want that chemical, or whatever it is that they're putting in the food, that makes you desire more. Most people say it's corn syrup, which isn't a lot of things, but there has to be something else, And so, think about certain products that disappeared, that no longer exist. Like Jolt was this big thing, the Jolt Cola, and it just disappeared. I can't even tell you who created it. Was it Coca-Cola? Was it Pepsi? You don't know. So it's like, these are the type of things where you have to wonder, what's the true motive of getting rid of natural grown things and forcing us to have things that come from factories and chem labs, because some stuff was created. I'm just saying, it's just seriously, we don't know what's going on. Genetically altered meat. If you look something up on YouTube here, there's something where, it might have been YouTube I was watching, but there was a thing where they were talking about growing meat in laboratories and shaping it to however they want, and they're actually shaping them to look like human body parts. So that's a little disturbing because there's missing people all the time. You can say that it's grown in a lab and it looks like human body parts, but did you really do that, or is there some humans that disappeared that you want to get rid of? And it's some crazy stuff you never know. We have to analyze all these things, because now, if they're getting rid of farms and they're getting rid of backyard gardening, then what is a true motive? And then on top of what's the motive, is what we eating from the stores actual product that we're trying to get? Is it the actual meat? Is it the actual grains? Is it the actual vegetables and fruits? You know what I'm saying? So, even a diet wouldn't matter if it was something that was made somewhere else that's not real. Like for instance, corn pretty much looks like wheat in the natural form, but corn itself is a mutated strand of a plant, and people don't realize that's a man-made plant. It's not the way it was originally. And so there's a lot of different other things too that is man-made, that is given to us to make us think that, hey, this is the way it's always been. Maybe it's not. It's like when they start talking about omega-3s, out of nowhere, all these purple fruits and vegetables popped out of nowhere. Before, they were nowhere to be seen. When I was a kid, I'd never seen all these things that were purple and stuff. Now you got purple apples, purple oranges, purple this and that. Where they all come from? So it's just like, you just gotta really question these things. So you can let this guy finish off what he's saying. So, but I'm still saying that's just crazy.
Who see these headlines who were maybe on the fence, maybe timid a little bit about getting into gardening, and because of a headline like this, they're going to choose not to. That would be so incredibly sad. And for those of you who garden, either for your mental well-being, to put food on the table for your family, I think you would agree. In the short time since this study came out, media outlets all over have jumped on it with the same dire headline. This has just served to multiply its reach. And I keep talking about these headlines. And the reason I do that is because that's what gets people's attention. That's the sensationalism. But what does this study really focus on? I'll put a link to the University of Michigan who did this study. They have a short video that kind of encapsulates the entire study. But the focus on the video and the focus on the study puts gardening in a lot better light than you would believe by looking at all the headlines. They actually talk about how important home and urban gardens are now and how important they're going to be in the future. But in a world of shortening attention spans, most people aren't going to get past the headline. And I think the powers that be know that because they bury the positives, any positives about any of these things, they bury at the bottom of the article where nobody's going to see it. The most ridiculous paragraph.
He's probably right about that too, because I mean, there's a lot of things that be said. I mean, here's the thing too. So, and I think it's not about taking away information, because we got the internet now that has so much information. But honestly, when you get on the internet, there's things that you read that's stupid. That's if you read, you know. So I go to certain things, websites like Reddit or whatever. You read any kind of article and things you want, and you can go to other places online and still read things, you know. Even the weekly Weekly World News, a magazine that used to be in a newspaper, this has its own thing on the internet. I don't know if it's still there because I haven't checked it out in a while, because I'm kind of blown out of my mind with conspiracy theories. People always talking about them to me, and they sound so ridiculous. Like this girl I know kept going off about the eclipse and that they're going to shoot missiles at the eclipse. They're going to shoot missiles at the moon. And it's like, no one's doing that. We need the moon for freaking the tides, for water tides and stuff, and there's all kinds of lunar things that happen at night, like jasmines blossom at night and stuff. So a certain plant that blooms only at night. So I mean, it's stupid crap. And then I listen to these theories, and then it's half-assed because they don't really understand the information they're talking about. But you know, people like them. But my thing is, I went off topic with that. But my point is, they do hide a lot of information. Like the newspaper. When I was a kid, compared to the newspaper now, it's ridiculous. It's just so thin. But back then, that thing was so huge. You know, I mean, it's like a giant book. You know, but then you pull it out as long as all hell. And then the only thing I cared about was a Sunday paper because it had all the little cartoon comic book things in it. But you know, as I got older, I would read certain things like, you know, baseball or whatever on there. But you know, I would do that anyway if I was betting and stuff. But anyway, that's the whole different thing. My point is, information is being hidden, and they could easily get away with something like this, taking things from people that they need to survive. And it's sad because our nation is so far gone. The people are not truly educated, even with a device that has the whole world at your fingertips when it comes to Google and any kind of search engine, and people still don't use them for the right thing. They'll use them for like, oh, how I get the, you know, whatever these Stanley Cups are and all this crap. They look for stupid shit, and instead of looking for the truth, you know, and like they say, you know, X-Files, the truth is out there. You just got to go find it, you know. And so right here is the truth of what's going on in Michigan, and I showed you the truth of what's happening in Oregon, and it just gets even worse, you know, because there's more things going on that they're trying to take away from the American people.
The graph in the article is this. Most of the climate impacts at urban farms are driven by the materials used to construct them, the infrastructure. These farms typically only operate for a few years or a decade, so the greenhouse gases used to produce those materials are not used effectively. Oh.
Okay, so, yeah, it's just too much. It's way too much. It's just ridiculous, you know. And I mean, I don't know. I can keep saying you mean and you know and I understand, but I don't think none of us truly know what the hell the motive is behind all this. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about, in the case of home gardeners, the materials used to make our raised beds, which you don't even need to use materials to make raised beds, but the wood that is harvested and trucked to Home Depot, and then you driving your car to get the wood. Okay, fine. That's fine. But it goes on to say, conventional agriculture, on the other hand, is very efficient and hard to compete with. For example, conventional farms often grow a single crop with the help of pesticides, fertilizers, resulting in larger harvests and a reduced carbon footprint when compared to urban farms. So poisoning the land with pesticides, herbicides, synthetic fertilizers, monocropping, and taxing the soil to the point of no return, and poisoning our bodies in the process, that's all somehow positive because it lowers our carbon footprint. How does this make sense? Like, seriously, tell me in the comments how this makes sense.
It doesn't, guy. It doesn't. And I'll explain why it doesn't. Because what he just said, when it comes to all the stuff that they're saying is better when it comes to farming and, like you said, pesticides, herbicides, and all these other things that they put into the soil. This is why I'm saying they're not giving us healthy food in the stores. You know, it's just like there's this documentary about livestock. They talk about farms. You know, they don't really talk about free range. In this case, they talk about those that are built in this big farm and they have all these chickens and they're stuck in cages. They never get out of the cages. And they were explaining this whole thing about I want to say salmonella, and they were saying they could never get salmonella out of a chicken, but they still sell the chicken in the store. You know, they'll clean it to you know, they can't clean it no more, and they just put it in the store, and they will still have salmonella. And so the thing about it is, it'd be better if we understood more, if more Americans understood how to live off the land, how to grow their own things, how to be able to raise livestock or any kind of livestock, maybe goat because they're smaller or anything like that, lamb or something, and be able to understand how these animals work and how to be able to take care of them, as well as trying to find a way to use them to bring, you know, nourishment to us, and, you know, do it in a way to where they're clean, healthy, and safe, and safety for us to eat, you know. And I just think that this is crazy. This means something. If you don't, you know, even if you don't believe in stuff I talk about, but this means something, and it means more than just me going on talking about it. This means there might be a point in time where we won't be able to find no food. If they're taking away farms and they're taking away backyard gardening, then it's only a matter of time before the prices in the store is outrageous. Because if they have no other way to grow things, and you're taking, and on top of the fact, taking away competition from the other wealthy people, wealthy farmers, you know, they're trying to make sure they mark the corner of the market. This type of stuff I don't understand, because Theodore Roosevelt created the New Deal, and when he created the New Deal, and this is a history lesson for you guys. This has to do with two main historical figures. One that never gets done talking about, and that's Rockefeller. Rockefeller had an oil company that was selling oil at cheap prices and beating all the competitors. He ended up buying up all the oil companies. Then Theodore Roosevelt came about and created the New Deal. And when he did, he was able to say, hey, one wealthy business cannot overpower any other business. And so he had to break his oil company into multiple things. ExxonMobil and dang it, I forget the other one, but he had to mix them into two different companies. And you know the companies because you use them all the time. Like I said, ExxonMobil is a part of Rockefeller's business, if you don't know. And so there's another oil company I can't think of. It's definitely not Texaco. It's something else. But the whole point of what I'm saying is, somewhere, and I've been wondering this, and I've been talking about this to people, and they don't still understand, because first of all, they don't know the history on Rockefeller or Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt is one of those presidents, you know, everybody's got one. But he's one of those presidents where I talk about it because you know, he's, like I said, I'm all over the place. Theodore Roosevelt is one of those presidents that if you're a person that knows the presidents and you're always talking about a certain president that either did something you like or disliked, and you talk about him a lot. And Theodore Roosevelt is one of those presidents I talk about a lot, because of him, our nation's changed in a certain way, in multiple different ways, not just through finance or should I say the economy, or through bringing Social Security about, or making natural places where we can go, like Jellystone Park or Yellowstone Park, whichever one. I get it confused because of Yogi Bear. But the whole thing is, he also did entertainment. We would not have football with so many damn protective rules if it wasn't for Theodore Roosevelt. So I mean, there's a lot of different other things he's done too. I can go on and on about Theodore Roosevelt. And kids wouldn't have teddy bears and yada yada. Okay, and if you don't believe me, look your history up. You'll realize the teddy bear is named after Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore is the real name. Teddy is a nickname or short for Theodore. So anyway, I went way off topic. Let's get back to this. But my point is though that I don't know what happened to that law. The law that was passed that no wealthy person business can overpower another business, because all I see is wealthy businesses profiting off the American people and growing to mass proportions, while the rest of us is looking over chicken straps and stuff. We're fighting over this stuff. We have people dying in the street, people stealing stuff in the stores, shooting people dead all over bits and tiny pieces of money, when people have trillions and billions of dollars. And they do stupid crap. They make dumb videos like on YouTube, and they do all this crap, or they go around and they buy these cars. They try to act like they're fancy or better than somebody, and it's all because somewhere, some government person or part, I don't know if it's Democrat or Republican, thought it was a good idea to poke holes at that law and change it to where anybody can be wealthy and don't care about the other company or the individuals they're selling these products or things to. And that's the truth. And whoever did it, because I haven't took my time to research it, because I'm so tired of politics, y'all. I'm so tired of it. There used to be a thing I used to enjoy because I'm trying to learn what's going on in the world. But now I just like, I'm over it. But with this situation right here, I can't get over this. I can't get over the hump on this, because why do you want to stop people from living healthy, living right, and trying to take care of their families and people they care about? It's just stupid. So let's get back to this though.
I'm open. This is where I think black and white thinking goes too far. The focus is so much on carbon footprint and what that may or may not do in the future that we're not taking a look at what's happening right now in front of our eyes. It's frustrating. It makes me sad. It makes me discouraged. But I'm not going to quit gardening, and neither should you. In fact, I'm doubling down. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned the Gardening from Scratch series that I had planned. But I've tweaked that series a bit, partially because of what I just talked about, and the other reason is inflation right now is crazy high, and I think cost is sometimes a stumbling block, especially right now, for people to get into gardening and to start a garden. Let me know if you were with me back in 2020 on this channel when I did Self-Sufficient Sunday and Tomato Tuesday, both very popular series. I think this is going to be even more popular.
So it's like trying, I don't remember the name of this guy's channel. It's probably right here in the corner. No, it says subscribe. But, you know, it's the whole thing that, one of them things where you find something and you're like, whoa, and then you watch it and you're like, oh my God, this is really happening, and this is how I caught it, you know. But if you do see this guy's channel, watch it, learn something. Obviously, he's an expert on gardening, and, you know, fight the power. You know what I mean? Fight the power, learn what you gotta learn, and just do it, man. Just get into it.
I am more excited about it than anything I've done on this channel. Instead of just taking you through starting a vegetable garden from scratch, we're going to start a brand new vegetable garden up here in the cottage garden from scratch, but with zero money. We're going to start and grow the whole garden for free. I'm going to take you through starting from scratch and then all the way through the season without...
So I'm just going to stop it there. There's no point in me watching them do whole gardening. My whole thing was trying to explain why are they trying to take away gardening from just regular citizens. Even though this is in Michigan, it still hits home if in Oregon they're trying to take away farms completely and make them a whole thing to where people have to get rid of their livelihood, get rid of their whole lifestyle, get rid of the animals they've probably grown attached to, or people that was working with them on the farm to help take care of the things and branch out. So I'm saying pay more attention and to forget all the nonsense. Forget about your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your taxes, your bills, and all this crap, and anything else that's going on at work and whatever. Just forget about that crap for a while. Take a time to actually sit back and pay attention to what the government is trying to put out there and tell us, because there's something wrong, and there's a message between the message, within the message, inside the message, that all of us is missing. And that's the honest to God truth. And so, to me, once again, this is morally wrong, because Almighty Himself brought humans on earth to tend the garden. And you're taking away a garden, and it's even different than saying farm, because it's actually saying garden, which actually makes a biblical presence there. And you can't grow, tree of knowledge or wisdom or tree of might if you're doing all this. I'm just saying, maybe people that garden should come together and farm and try to build the most, biggest farm, and I want to say, like, not like a biodome, but something like similar, just the biggest vegetational area. Make their own, not a forest, but like a, oasis, if you will, of plants, and things, and get all the animals they can and just breed them. Don't even eat them, just keep breeding them. Let them multiply, let all things multiply. And it might be more of a peaceful place, because now we got stuff we don't have to go to the store and buy. You just go walk to that area where all this stuff is grown for everybody that's a citizen, and just grab it and go. Maybe fair trade. You give them something for something else. You give them some kind of power tools or something they need to make this thing continue to grow. And so with all that being said, this has been Moral High Ground. Like I said, keep an open eye, be a watchdog, and make sure to try to look for the truth. Peace be with you all, and blessings upon you always. Peace.